All right. Well, the point of no return. It looks like my audio is way off now.
It's a little slow.
Yeah, it really is. Let me see. Let me see. I wonder if it's the audio port in this room because trying a new room and of course trying something new as usual. All right. Move to Florida. Thanks. You're on. Appreciate it. I think probably getting a little bit of a delay. I'm going to try the Wi-Fi real quick. All right. Well, we are. I don't know. I don't think that's much better. Now I'm wondering because
It's about the same.
we finally got the other table, the other internet working just fine, and so I thought, why not change it up? Why not change it up and you know move it over there? So now I'm wondering. I could go over there. Anyways, all right. Well, hey, welcome. always fun
Always
to
an
go live.
adventure.
Yeah, always testing out. I guess we're testing out the new port here, the new port in this office, which we just hardwired it all, but probably would have been good to test that a little bit beforehand. But otherwise, I've been making content on here no problem at all, and doing some live streams at night. So not sure what the delay is. I'm gonna have to go switch in. Okay, well, good. They can hear us just fine. So Let me see. Let us know. I know there's several of you out there already. So go ahead and give us a thumbs up if you don't mind. Go ahead and drop your comments if you have questions. And then also, let me see. We posted the link in the Facebook group. For any people that are wanting to join us, and then we're here for your questions. And doing some channel reviews today that seem to be pretty popular last time. So let me see as we get a few people jumping in here. Let's see. We've got we've got moving to Florida. Florida's first coast. All right, the first coast. What is the which one was the first coast, by the way? I figured Florida kind of had all of its coast at once, but I could be wrong. I'm not completely up to speed on my Florida coastline history. So let us know what is the first coast. Let's see. We've got Atlanta Metro. Hey, from Georgia. How's it going? And we've got Bellingham, Washington already in the house. What's going down? And let's see. Northeast, I suppose. Okay. There you go. St. Augustine, oldest city in the U.S. Well, there you go. There you go. There is our answer for today. Your history lesson on Florida as well. Boy, I'm really delayed, huh? Pretty slow. Let me see if I can go back to. Let me go back to the wired. See if that helps. Oh, probably not. Looks like it. So we may just have to go back to the other the other desk. Let's see. Had a great talk with the best agent. Let's see. Kevin had the great talk with the best agent in Dalton, Georgia this morning. He must have talked to Chris, huh? Did you talk to Chris? Okay, cool. Kevin Williams looking sharp. Look like that hat and tie. Got the hat going on. So that's good. Nice, looking nice and dapper, Kevin there. So anyways, yeah, let us know what your questions are. Anything you've seen come up this week, we can kind of kick off and get started on. Chrissy.
Yeah, we've had a couple of questions on weighted versus unweighted scores in TubeBuddy, and so maybe you could elaborate a little bit more on that and why you would want to use which score and where.
Okay. Well, I mean, the really unweighted is, weighted and unweighted is based off of your channel. So weighted is going to be, more based on your channel. Unweighted is kind of like basing it off of YouTube in general. So when you're first starting out, unweighted's probably better. Now, the thing is that some will say that doesn't really matter, but when you don't have much of an audience established, or you are just getting started out, then unweighted is probably the better use of that to find your search scores on there, through TubeBuddy. Now, once you establish more of an audience and you're getting more traction on the channel, then you want things really based off of what's happening on your channel, and that's where weighted is going to come into play. I don't really recall where we switched over and where we started to really move into weighted. Of course, now with an established audience and plenty of subscribers, we use the weighted version all the time. But yeah, as you're starting out, I would use the unweighted. But if you kind of go back and forth, then and you see a little bit of a difference, I mean, ultimately you're looking for some traction there. I think from what I always look for is optimization strength, and if that's strong, then I think that usually tells us that there's opportunity to optimize that video and get found a lot easier if the optimization strength is in the green, right? And so that's telling you that there could be several videos out there, maybe not ideally optimized. And so that's going to give us the opportunity to optimize correctly and give it a better opportunity to be found through search. And so I wouldn't play too much into it, but it's there to it's interesting to see the different results. But yeah, as you're starting out, then unweighted is probably just fine. Let's see. Oh, I like this comment right here. You killed it at build 22. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that. That was a lot of fun, and got the opportunity last week to speak in. I don't know what the final count was. They said between 5,000 to 6,000 agents. Let's just go with 6,000 agents, right? That sounds better. But it was a huge room. I'll just say that. So 6,000 agents at Build 22. We got an opportunity to be on the stage. The week before that, we were on the stage with Ryan Serhant. So it was very two pretty cool weeks, right back to back. Now that pressure is off the shoulder a little bit, but otherwise, yeah, thanks a lot, Kevin. It was a lot of fun, practiced, and so it's always good to hear the feedback and really enjoyed that. So it was a great opportunity. Let's see, we got Eric. What's up, Eric, from Grand Rapids, Michigan? We are hitting all over the U.S. today, all over. Everyone's coming in here. Let's see. All right, let's see. Moving to Florida's First Coast. I'm starting to make videos for new construction communities. When do you search on Google, not YouTube? No videos come up. Is there a way I can link my videos to their Google profile? Link their videos to their Google profile. So, well, that's a good question, Chrissy. Maybe you can take that one on. So I believe what he's asking is that the new construction company has a Google business profile. So is there a way he can link videos to their profile?
Yeah, cross-posting is really the only way that you can do that. You can't directly link any YouTube channels unless you want to have that be the link on the Google My Business profile that goes to your channel. And so basically the best way to do that is to work with them to try and get a post made with the link in it. Because you can make a post that directly links to a video or directly links to, your profile. And then you can also do direct uploads. So it's kind of difficult when it's not your community, your Google My Business profile. You do have to kind of talk to them about doing cross-posting and creating posts or creating something in their photo section related to that. But yeah, there's not really a direct way to do that. It all comes down to just kind of cross-posting onto that. But usually, in that kind of case, a lot of times people are really willing to add your stuff in a post or in the photo section, just because it's extra content for them and it boosts both of your pages at the same time. So that's what I would recommend, is maybe just talk to the person who's in charge of that Google My Business profile and talk about maybe doing a cross post on their post section.
All right, Chrissy, do you mind taking over for just 1 second?
Yep,
I'm going to try to shift here for a second. We're going to see if this works. So
sounds good.
We're going to test this live.
Perfect. Yeah. So does that answer your question about the Google My Business? I think that's a really great way to do it. That serves a couple purposes too, because on one hand, you're getting featured on another valuable links page. And so that actually helps you, build those backlinks and things like that with reputable sources. And so that's a really great way to do it. And then not only that, it helps you build the relationship with that community itself, with that builder or whatnot. So usually people are really willing to do those types of posts, especially like if you offer to write the post for them and they don't have to come up with the copy or anything like that. You can just talk to them about maybe, working a deal where both of you are kind of benefiting from the videos. They're getting the benefit because it's bringing people to their community, and you're getting the benefit because you're getting the extra exposure. So that's what I would recommend, is doing a cross-posting strategy with that. And I would also recommend offering to do it both in the photo section and in the post section, and then just offer to write the post for them, which is really easy to do. Hey, that didn't take long.
And so actually that looks a lot better.
Way better.
Now I'm
way
on
better.
the regular old webcam. Oh, we got some lights going on here and everything. And now I feel weird because I'm on the right side versus I'm usually on the left side.
That's right.
Okay.
Now.
I think what I heard though, that was a great answer.
Thank you.
So, okay. Let me see.
Looks
All
like
right,
we've
good.
got a couple more questions in there, so perfect timing.
All right, let's see. So yeah, just let us know if that answered your question. If not, hit us back up in the chat here. And what's up, Tamara? What's going down? When TubeBuddy wants tags in the title, what's your recommendation on tags and title? When TubeBuddy wants tags in the title, what's your recommendation on tags and title? I think what they're asking for is that usually the first tag you put in the tag box should be your main keyword in the title. Right, Chrissy?
Yes, and you want to keep it short tail. So don't do like your entire title. I've seen people do that before, where they do their entire title, which is like 2 pages long. Don't do that. You're going to basically, that first tag should typically be your city and state that you're highlighting.
Yeah. So if your keyword is Dallas, Texas, then Dallas, Texas is ideally your first tag in the box, and that's what's going to help you out. And so it just goes into what you want your video to be structured around. So when you go into the optimization section of TubeBuddy and you're going to fill that stuff out, it's going to ask you, what's your keyword? Well, if it's Dallas, Texas, or Plano, Texas, or Frisco, Texas, you could put that in there, but then you're going to type out your title. What does 300K get in Frisco, Texas? So Frisco, Texas is still your keyword, but because you've identified that as your keyword when you started the optimization process, it's going to want you to place that keyword as the first keyword in the tag box. That's the very in-depth, the very in-depth technical explanation there. So pretty simple. But if you put Dallas, Texas suburb, or Dallas, Texas suburb, and you make that your keyword whenever it asks you your initial keyword, then you'll want that as your first keyword in the tag box. Now, and then that's really how it's recognizing that. So that's how it's picking that up.
Yeah. And then also using, if you can put 1 or 2 other types of keywords or key phrases in that title too, that's going to help you hit that 100%. Because what you'll want to do, if you use like living in Dallas, Texas, that could be your second one. Moving to Dallas, Texas, if that's in your title, you would also want to include that, because that by itself is a really strong long tail keyword. So just make sure that anytime that you have an opportunity for a keyword in your header, that it's all, or your title, I should say, then that's also included as a tag in your tag section.
Yep. Okay. We did get a channel for review.
Oh, great.
Right.
See, let me go look in the Facebook group and see if anybody else threw one in here.
And, okay, let me come back here and see. Okay. All right. So Tamara, let us know if that answers your question. I think that's what you're asking there. So should be good to go.
All right, awesome. We have a channel review request from James Heenan. It's from Calgary, so I'm going to put the link. It's in the Facebook group. Do we have a place that I could throw this?
I grabbed it.
Okay, awesome.
Yep. So we're good to go. So let's see here. Sunny says, good morning, sir. Just starting out. It is a must to start out having text added over my videos. Must they be polished if I'm starting out? When you started, was it strictly video and content? No, I mean, started with an editor. Actually, Chrissy was our initial editor on
The OG.
yeah, the original editor. She's the OE.
Yeah, there you go.
The original editor. And so no, we always. I mean, I think our editing has improved and grown and transitioned and changed and things like that. So we always did that. I mean, is it absolutely necessary? Not really, but it does help with retention. It does help with everyone seeing a squirrel, right, and getting distracted these days. I mean, any type of things you can add to your video to really just do pattern interrupts, what we call pattern interrupts, and jump cuts and things like that, really help retain attention. From what they say, at least. And that's the thing is we talked about this. A couple of channels ago was that, or a couple of reviews ago, or videos, whatever we're calling these things today. A couple of reviews ago that if you watch, especially a real estate show, I mean, that's if I check out a real estate show on TV now, mostly I'm looking at the production. I'm looking at how are they doing it. Now you got to think about it. These shows on TV have a ton of camera angles. They have a staff. They've got multiple people involved in that, especially if you're looking at a $1 million listing or selling Sunset or something like that. It's just that, those are selling OC, right? That just came out. And what I was counting on there was camera angle changes. And usually around every 2 to 3 seconds, you'll see a camera angle change. And that way it's always doing a pattern interrupt. It's showing different angles, people's different viewpoints, side to sides. I mean, it's just always adjusting that quickly. And you wonder sometimes, I always feel like on some of those real estate shows too, they go through the homes way too quickly. It's a lot of fast pace, probably indoor drones. It looks like they're using, they do a lot of speed up around corners. I mean, all that is just like constant movement during the videos. So it's made to capture that attention. So anything that you have, text that pops up, it's why captions are so big on Instagram and TikTok right now, right? Captions, because the stats, which is really kind of hard to believe, but they say 70% of people actually go through Instagram and TikTok with their sound off. So the captions can attract attention, or people will actually read the captions instead of just turning on their volume. So those types of things. Now, is it absolutely necessary? No. Now, the thing is if you're doing a neighborhood video as well, and you're out walking around, that's a lot of movement in the video. And if you're switching from hand to hand, now, if you think about that, we typically don't do a lot of overlays, I would say, or text or in the neighborhood videos, because the background is usually constantly moving or changing. Now, we may throw up a little B-roll, or sometimes we throw up pictures of the house, or typically we wait until we get to driving footage. But other than that, walking around in a neighborhood is going to help do that. But if you're just sitting in an office in the chair, just like this, looking at the camera, that's something that you either need to tell amazing stories, hold people's attentions, or you kind of got to have a little bit going on in the background. Even like right here, like even that light that is changing colors on a consistent basis. A lot of people may not even recognize that because it's kind of fainting off in the background, but something like that's just constantly moving also can kind of keep people's attention. And I had this, we did a call the other day, did a live stream. And when we got off the call, it was funny. The people that were running it, they were like, I was mesmerized by the background lights, all the movement you had going on there. And so it was able to capture their attention. Or if they started to lose focus, they were looking more at the light versus just off wind. But then they were able to come back and focus on what we were saying. So I mean, the thing is that, I think you just want to get started. That's always the best thing to do, is get started. But at the same time, anything you can add helps. Now, if you're doing this yourself, or you're just trying to piece some things together, again, we've never really recommended editing videos on your own. We don't feel like that's the best use of your time, and you should, hire that out. At the same time, understand people are in different places or depending on their budget or what they want to do. So from there, if you're trying to do minimal editing, just think about it as you're going through that. If you're working on your own video, think about, are you holding your own attention? Or think about if you're sitting there and you're just staring at the camera talking and it's 2 minutes and 3 minutes and 4 minutes and that goes by. You might want to see how you can add something up. And it's pretty simple too, other than text, right, Chrissy? I mean, even on basic editing platforms, I mean, to throw a few things in like that, it's not too challenging, right?
No, I mean, it's just more time consuming, really. I mean, it's not difficult stuff. It's just takes time.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's a great YouTube video about it as well.
Yep.
So if you wanted to do simple,
always.
Yeah, simple overlays, whatever. If you're editing iMovie, if you have iMovie on your Mac for free or whatever is used on a PC, and then what do they use on PCs for free?
I mean, there's a couple different programs that you can use. I mean, Cyberlink has a couple different free ones that you can use, free versions that you can also upgrade. I mean, Premiere Pro is definitely the best one. We use that, but they also use the same one for making movies. So if you don't want to learn a new program, don't do Premiere Pro.
Wait, so they don't have a program that comes on the computer?
Well, I think they have like a Windows video editor. I mean, it's super, super basic though. I mean, like I said, Cyberlink is kind of the most aligned with it. It's just a free download that you can do, but it's compatible most with Windows.
Yeah, it's no iMovie like on Mac.
Mm-mm.
That's for sure. Okay.
Always taking a stab at us window users.
Yep. Okay, so all right, so it's correct. I want my video to come up on Google when people search the builder and the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's what we were just answering his question about doing the posts in the post section and in the photo section.
Okay. Yeah, and were you saying that the builder could do that for him, or he's able to?
Yeah, well, he would be able to write the post and send it to them, and usually you can come up with an agreement with somebody to do that, and it benefits both parties. So
well, also they could. I mean, customers can submit video. Can they?
Yeah, pictures and videos you can submit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I mean, the post section you would have to talk to them directly about, but yeah, the post and the video section you can directly upload to that.
Yeah, so that could be an option as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would ask them first as well, just so you don't step on any toes, just in case. But I would go to that builder and say, hey, is it okay if I post a couple of short videos, which I believe would be limited to 15 seconds, right? I
believe it's 30 seconds. Yeah, 30 seconds. It can't have any extra. That is the one problem with doing that in the photo section. It just can't be edited. What they want is raw in the moment videos for the photo section. So that's one thing that you would have to kind of think about if you're going to submit directly to the platform. But on the post section, you can put a link directly to your channel and your video. So that I feel like is the biggest benefit, is doing it there. But yeah, you can submit, short 30-second videos on Google My Business if it's not edited.
Yeah, they might, Google might actually push that out there more if you upload that as a customer or client, right? And then go there. Yep. And so you have to be creative. So first of all, get permission from the builder, but then say, hey, look, this is what I'd like to do. And I'd be very creative as far as how do I put my contact info. I mean, it's going to have to be fast and furious. So if you're in front of that property, you could be like, hey, you want to see what 300,000 gets you, or 500,000 gets you in new construction here in Dallas, Texas? My name is Levi. Let me know if you want to see this property. And my number, I don't know. You'd have to think through that, how you could have a call to action on there, but then also do a quick run through of that property.
Yeah, and that's why I would definitely check with the builder first, because again, if they feel like it conflicts with their business at all, they can delete that. And so, or they could at least dispute that. And so I would definitely check with them first. But again, I think that it's really powerful to have both the post section and the photo section, something submitted from both sides, because I think it would benefit both parties. And really, you could make that a big business opportunity for yourself and for the builder too. I think it'd be a really good relationship you could build through that.
Yeah, I want to say, I believe I was at a conference last year. Now, just refresh my memory. I was at a conference last year, and I believe somebody was doing that, posting 30-second videos to builder profiles and generating some business that way.
Yep.
So, yeah, definitely a good way. But, yeah, if you could do that same post and then add your text overlay or your phone number or something like that, and they'll post it for you, I mean, that would be ideal. But the thing is that I'm wondering if they might just be wondering what's the real benefit to them there, because if it's their profile page and I think that the main way is to optimize it too. I mean, if you put that on YouTube, whether it's a short, which is 60 seconds or less, similar to Reel or TikTok, or you have it on your channel, I mean, Google does link to YouTube quite a bit. So that could be another way if you want to link it organically and you want to make sure that you can capture that traffic. Because also if you're drawing attention to the builder profile or website, there's no reason somebody can't just call the builder and cut you out of it. So even from that standpoint, I would probably still want to own my content on that and post it. And I think you optimize it for the keywords of that builder or that floor plan. That's actually what I've seen better on new construction is optimization towards the floor plans, the builder, the model, whatever, the elevation, all of that factors in. Sometimes people are specifically searching that, and it gives you, I believe, the opportunity to get indexed in Google. And we know that they'll index shorts and things like that. So I think I would still probably want to do it organically. Not that you couldn't do it through the builder, but again, I think I'd be interesting. Maybe come back next week and let us know what you find out if you have a conversation with the builder and that's what they would want you to do. But ideally, I would see it as a builder. I'd say, well, as an agent, you're posting on my stuff. And then what's going to keep you from, people contacting you whenever they could just contact the builder directly? So I know they never mind when you bring them business, but if they can cut you out of it any way possible, they're always happy to do that. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of different angles you could take with it too. I think explore a couple different options with that and see if there's some type of mutual benefit that you can come to on that. But there's also ways to do it outside of working directly with them too. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, says thanks. All right, and Tamara says, yep, that's what I was thinking. Thanks for clarifying. You're welcome. Let's see. Shastine, is it Shastine I see you back there. I don't see your camera on though. So if you want to, you ready to come on? All right. Ready to come on. Let's see what's going down with, did I say it correctly? Is it Shastine?
It's Shastine.
Shastine. Sorry. I knew it was one or the other. I was just going to go for, I was going for one. So, but I feel your pain, right? Especially with the Polish last name like mine. It's the constant battle of my life.
Yes.
So what's up? How are you?
I'm doing really good. Thank you. I put my question in the private chat in which I can certainly ask it again. And that is, of course, when I'm doing, and it kind of goes along with what you were already talking about, but from the new construction side, but when you're doing actual walkthroughs on, and I have been doing them on new construction homes. My question is it better I've been doing the walkthrough and then sending it to my editor to kind of clip out some little bumps and the transitions between the hallways and the doorways and then of course always adding music and things like that. But I'm just wondering, is it better to do it live? And of course I know don't talk. Nobody wants to hear you rant and talk. You can just put information and stuff in there. But I just didn't know whether have you found that kind of happy flow as far as you guys and what you've been doing?
Well, are you doing short form content or long form content?
Actually, so when I'm doing the walkthrough, so I kind of do it like you. I'm in the community, Strawberry Hill community. This is a little bit of history. It's an infill build in the community, 10 minutes away. I'll show some footage of me driving into the community, kind of the homes, exiting out, then doing the walkthrough. So that's how I've been doing them. Of course, I haven't put anything out there. I was just on our call on Tuesday with Chrissy. Chrissy, you were fabulous. And and I'm still waiting to get my 8 videos before I launch. And I'm like, can I just throw in some of those home tours? I mean, my thought is if I'm going to do a certain subdivision, isn't it great to do the vlog? Yes, do the map, but then, and maybe some few restaurants. And then also this is an inside of new construction video walkthrough tour. And, and then here's also like what you do. Here's the 300, 400, 500,000 with the 5 photos or 4 photo up that you've been doing for pre-owned, which I know we have to be a little bit more cautious of because of people are living in it, personals and things like that. But I'm thinking, I don't have the official 8 to launch, but I'm trying to build the content out so that I can launch.
Yeah, I got you. So, well, that's always, the 8 is a recommendation, of course, but I mean, it's just because we've seen people fall into that trap where they get 2 or 3 or 4 videos, which is great, by the way, and that's where you start. And then for whatever reason, something comes up and then they get stuck, and then they end up not publishing for a week or 2 or 3 after that. And so it's just something to help you develop that muscle memory, so to speak, to get those videos knocked out. But I mean, I think you can do, ultimately you can do what you want. What worked for us, every market's different. And I think also you can experiment. We haven't done a ton of walkthroughs. This is something we were actually discussing this last week. Is I've noticed a few other channels on YouTube that's what they focus on. Very simple now, and they seem to be getting some good traction. And that's all they're doing is walking through some new construction homes. Now, whether you're on camera or off camera, that's up to you. For me, I think I'm just so used to being on camera that any walkthroughs I've done of new construction have been typically at the end of the video, whenever I've kind of already featured the neighborhood, and I just try to get through there usually as quick as possible. It's not a full-blown 10, 15 minute, let's go through this entire thing. It's kind of like, let's just go check it out. Walk in, spending it 5 to 8 minutes there, nothing too serious. But I think any time that you can brand yourself and be on the camera, as long as you're able to stay conversational, now that's the key, but if you want, I think because people do want your perspective, they want to know what you're looking at, what do you like, what do you not like if you walk into a new construction home. Is the ceilings too low? Are the ceilings ideal height? Is the flow pretty good? Or is this, just kind of like walking them through, nice upgrades. Okay, things look nice. I think you can do that pretty quickly. But if you do that individually, what I've seen is, what I've seen that I don't know. I would still want some personality in there. Not just, okay, we're at the Highland home. It's the it's the Rockmire elevation, and just the stats and things like that. I would not prefer to do that. I've seen channels that's what they do, and sometimes and they seem to do okay. So it's one of those things I could go back and forth on it. But if you want to do a neighborhood tour, a map tour, and you want to do a brand new construction home tour, I don't see, why not? Throw it in there. It's just something that we haven't really focused on, but I think it's something you might see us do a little bit more, just for the opportunity. Okay. For additional content to try to change things up. Did that kind of answer your question?
Yeah. You're echoing just a little bit, Levi.
Yeah, I got a little, I'm not sure where that came from, but.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Is it still echoing?
Yeah. Okay. No. So then you're saying it really doesn't matter whether you just do a live walkthrough and like I said, I always do a little bit about the community. I always do a give a feel coming into the community. So I do make sure that my face is in there. One outside the community, kind of talking about the community. One before I go into the home, and then I shut up once I'm in the home, and I just put on, the music then comes on. But what I'm doing is I'm sending all that to the editor, and he's clipping out some of my walks and getting some other parts into it. So, so I was just like, there's a few other people that I won't mention that I've been looking at, and they literally just do walks. And I'm like, wow, they're, and their numbers that they're saying that they get from their business are still good, And so, I'm just trying to make sure that I always have content in there, but also trying to do a little bit of me, or, because I don't want to exactly mimic and be just a copy of you, or, so I'm like, I'm trying to do a little bit of.
No, I hear what you're saying. I mean, for me, anytime I've done that walkthrough, it's been edited into the final video now. But I just walk through the house myself, and I still stay on camera. So for me, that's just how my style and how I do it. I'm going to walk through, so I'm going to walk down the hallway, and I'll be walking down the hallway, and I'll go, there's an office right there, you know. So even I haven't pre-walked it, and so they're seeing my reaction for the first time, and we won't cut out hallways or anything like that, just because it's a natural part of the video. So okay, so thank you for clarifying that. So that's just what I do. It's still recorded, but I'm seeing it for the first time. The viewer's seeing my reaction for the first time, to where I'm like, this is not the like I was in a house and they had ceramic. The ceramic wood tiles, you know, for floors. I like that. I like that rental property, but I wouldn't want that necessarily in my primary home, you know. And so that was just something I pointed out. I like the look of the ceramic tile that has that wood feel and look, but I would like that at my lake house, or I would like that at a rental house or something. I wouldn't necessarily want that in my primary home. So that was just something I was like, floors look nice. They were well done. Wouldn't be my choice. So if there's an option for real wood or engineered wood or something, that's the route I would go. And so just something like that is just my opinion that I like to throw in there. So if the countertop is, you know, if it's a weird layout or something, I mean, I'll just say, okay, I'm not really sure about this layout or why that's over there, but hey, you know, if you like that, that's up to you. So I like that, as to where I know what you're talking about. I've seen there's a couple of channels that more than one I've seen that are just literally like, sometimes they're not even in it. They're just like, okay, here's the house. Here we, you know, and then they start walking through that. And sometimes they narrate it, or sometimes it cuts into music. I don't know, you know, and I've seen some of those channels not do well. I've seen a few of them, more than one, that seem to have a lot of traction on them. So, you know, it's one of those things. I enjoy what I do, and I'm having fun with it as well. I wouldn't want to just like walk through and just film properties and walk through, and that, me personally. So I like to stay in the video, walk through that, give my opinion, let them see my reaction. And I'm not doing it all the time. Now, what we have been talking about doing is finding some really nice model homes and just doing a video on a walkthrough of that model home, you know, and that's something we might test out a couple of those. I mean, we've been working a couple of the videos you see on our channel of walkthroughs are with custom builders. Now, I like builders now because they're unique. You know, they're not just a model home. They're a custom built home that have, I mean, really cool features and things that are added to it. And so that's a lot more fun for me to do that, and that we've partnered with several custom builders on that. And so, I mean, I think, you know, in the beginning as well, try out a couple of things and see what fits with your personality. What do you like doing? What do you not like doing? If you walk through there and you're just kind of like, okay, I'm on to the next house and I'm just walking through another house. I mean, you could probably hire somebody to go do that, and they could probably hit 10 homes in a day. You know, I mean, if you're not going to be on camera and there's going to be edited and it's just going to be like boom, boom, boom. I mean, you could probably find an intern or a college student or somebody to be like, all right, go out and just walk through every model home out there and knock it out. So for me, if I'm going to be out there, I'd rather be in the video, walking through it, talking.
Yeah. And I would say too, just as far as my opinion on that too, is that I think it's positioning. Oh, now I'm echoing too. I don't know why that's happening. But I think that at the end of the day, your channel is selling you. And I mean, people call us because they love watching what Levi does in the houses. And so I think at the end of the day, you need to be in the videos if you want them to be the most effective. And I think that the editing and the way that you do the editing also kind of depends on the level of luxury you're dealing with, because the really high end, like $3 million homes, Levi's walking through, and we do show some of the, you know, the hallways, some of the entrances into the rooms from just a cinematic perspective, you know, versus if he goes into a house that's kind of more in like the $600,000 to $700,000 range, or maybe even just the low $1 million range. You know, he's walking through the house and having like an in the moment experience on the main channel. So I think it comes down to positioning and the way that you want to kind of present the home. But either way, I think that you need to be involved in that, because ultimately people want your opinion and they want to see you in the video. That's why they're coming back to the channel ultimately, is because they vibe with your personality. And so I think that's where a lot of the walkthrough videos fall flat, is that anybody can go in and do a video. Just like he said, you know, a college student can go and do that. Where's the unique value? What does that bring to the channel? Is it adding to the value of the channel? Is it building the brand? If it's not, I would probably stay away from doing it altogether, because if it's not building the brand, it's not really adding value to the channel.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. And I think the influx was just, in my brain, was just the fact that if I'm in there walking, it feels more real versus when it's edited and clipped and, you know, done certain things to. So that's where I was kind of having that, should it just be real? Because it's a little bit different. It's not polished, but then kind of shows the personal side because it's not polished. And then you still have the polished stuff on there, you know, and so I'm trying, you know, because you do want people to get to know you. And so that's
well, and I think there's a way to do it both ways. You know, you can have a super curated version. Like we have our luxury videos where it's like, you know, we've got the super awesome fade ins, and then we've got the speed up transitions into the other bedrooms. We've got the, you know, the chandelier shots, you know, but Levi and Travis are still in those shots. You know, they're still walking through the house. Now they've pre-walked the house, so they know all the best features. And that just kind of gives it a cleaner, fresher look. And I think you try both and see what vibes with your audience. You know, we initially started with 2 different channels because we thought 2 different audiences were going to vibe with 2 different types of content. And what we found is that it's actually doing better on our main channel than it was on our luxury channel. So we're really kind of transitioning that. So I think you test it with your own audience, but I think ultimately either way that you go, I would stay in the shot in some way, shape or form. You know, you can do some that are a little bit more raw in the moment and some that are a little bit more curated and edited. But I think either way, having you in the shot's what's going to build the brand.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Is that it? Anything else? Or do we solve all the world's problems?
No, I wanted to add something, but I don't want to take up I don't want to hog the time. Like I told Chrissy, I have like 50 million questions, but you know, there's probably other people in the comments section that, you know, you might want to get to on just, and it's just different ideas or questions behind content. So I'll kind of wait.
Okay. Well, we'll go through a couple more. If we have a little time at the end, maybe we can bring you back on.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good to meet you. Let's see here. All right. So that's interesting. I didn't know any of that. Great. Thanks. All right. You're welcome. All right. Well, all right. Solving some problems here today. Solving some questions, I guess you could say. So would you optimize with the 250 word blog post title, etc.? Yes. Yes. All right. I'm struggling to write enough talking points for neighborhood explained map videos. What are some good things to talk about beyond commute times and nearby attractions for those most simple areas? All right, so James, what's up, James? He's the one we're going to take a look at the channel real quick. I mean, real easy. I mean, I don't script anything for map videos. I literally use the points on the map. Now, if I know a lot of the areas, so I'll go to specific things that I like to talk about and I want to share with people and I want them to know. But I mean, I just go through, I mean, anybody can Google drive times, but for whatever reason, we just throw it on there, drive times to the airport, drive times to downtown, just to add a little spice in there. And then I just like to highlight different things to do, restaurants that I like to go to, you know, getting to this side of town, that side of town, tollways. That's really it. I mean, you don't need to overcomplicate a map video. It can be 10, 12, 15 minutes and that time should go by pretty easily, even if it's a small area. I mean, if it's a small area, I did Argyle. I mean, the Argyle map video was what, 10, was that 10 minutes or 12?
Yeah, it's around 10, 11 minutes. Yeah.
That's a population of 4,500 and there's like a Sonic and 2 other restaurants there. So, but what I did was I talked about Denton, which is close by, and Highland Village, which is close by. So I ended up kind of sprinkling in some of the nearby areas and where you might go to do some things like that. And so you can kind of beef it up, but again, videos need to be as long as they need to be, which means don't keep talking to keep talking, but include all the relevant information that you feel would be helpful for somebody. So
Yeah, well, and the map video is a great opportunity to capture some stuff that you forgot to cover on the vlog. You know, that's happened a lot of times too. Like I've heard people who they've written down a huge list of notes and they accidentally, you know, went past one of the fun things about that area, or a fun story about that area, or one of the surrounding areas. So really, I mean, you can spice it up with just some extra storytelling, or something that you may have missed in the vlog too.
There you go. North of Atlanta Metro has says, hey, James, you can talk a little bit about what special activities the neighborhood does for the year, summer activities, Christmas festivities. Yeah, actually, this was who was I just talking to? Oh, I was talking to somebody yesterday. I was on a private call, and they were like, I'm going to do this whole video about the Halloween, you know, the neighborhood Halloween thing, because it's epic, and I'm going to do this. And I was just like, not really sure if you want to dedicate the whole video. Maybe just give it 1 to 2 minutes. I mean, highlight the whole community, the neighborhood, everything that's going around there, some houses. I mean, talk about that. Then maybe we throw in, and I just said, especially because it's a newer channel, I just said, I don't think just a Halloween video on that specific neighborhood. Yeah, it may look cool. Maybe it might get some traction during Halloween based on search, but probably not going to help the channel initially, especially as a newer channel. Now I said maybe in a year or year and a half or 2 years, whenever the channel is more established, that might be something a little bit more unique content to publish on there that might gain traction. But you can always just highlight it now, not make an entire video about it, and then but go out there, go to the cool party and get all the B-roll you can get, because you can always throw that in there. And then next year, you know, once the audience is established and everything's good to go, then you can go, you know, get rocking and rolling.
That's perfect for a reel or some type of short form content though. So if you wanted to use that on a reel or a TikTok, that would be an awesome way to kind of highlight, you know, here's more information about, you know, the rest of the area or the rest of the year, you know?
Yep. All right. Let me see if I can share this. Are you seeing his channel up here?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. So let's take a quick look. All right. Book a call. I mean, I would initially, when I look at this, looking to move to Calgary, book a call. So this visual right here kind of makes me want to click right here, but there's nothing there to click. So I would move these boxes here over to the right-hand side and move that arrow to point directly where the link is, ideally. Yep. So you can see here also your logo, James Heenan Real Estate. Real estate is really at the bottom edge. I'd bring that up a little bit because it looks like it's cutting off. Plus, look at a color wheel. So a color wheel, and watch a YouTube video on marketing colors and branding, or a color wheel or something like that. Ideally, you know, you want opposite colors to contrast. The green on gray, I'll just say, is a little bit too blended. And then, even with maybe it's just me, maybe it's my old eyes, but to learn about living in this is hard to read.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting, you know, close to my laptop. I mean, I can read it, but it's a little challenging.
Yeah, it all blends in. It looks very unfinished to me with those two colors. I mean, that's kind of what you see like a generic avatar looks like, and a generic like open space for something. So I think some color would really benefit this to help direct people to the right spots.
James, handsome fellow. All right, good looking suit. Now see how your blue suit, how that contrast on that gray. So even if that blue, like that would match with your instead of green, if you had that blue, that would make the buttons pop even more. That would definitely contrast. But I would probably, you're front dead and center. I would maybe move myself to the side. You know, your cutoff point on mobile is going to be like right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I can see you. Oh, whoa, my drawing gone crazy. Yeah, there we go. All right. So that's your cutoff point on mobile. So I would definitely use this space over here by moving this over here. I would have something over here. We always talk about a visual that helps. Where's the most of your people relocating from? You're in Calgary, but I see Seattle. I don't know. Is that Seattle in the background? maybe that's just another Space Needle, because I guess Calgary's in Canada, right?
Mhm.
So maybe that's just so I don't know. That initially I thought Seattle. That was just me. So I'm not familiar with the Calgary skyline, and I'm just looking at the skyline. Anyways, that looked like the Space Needle to me.
I think color will help with that too.
Yeah.
There's just not a whole lot of contrast there, so it's really hard to see where the lines are. It'll be easier to see that skyline if there's some contrasting color with that.
Yep. So, and if you have a visual, where are a lot of people coming in from? Why are they moving to Calgary? So I would try to help paint that picture over here just a little bit to help out there. If this is your first time to the channel, everything about, this is kind of what we had. I would look at our about section on our channel, and I would probably go a little bit closer to what we have. More like this channel is about, is I think a better description. We've talked about this, linking socials on here. Remember, we work hard to get people to our YouTube channel. So ideally, it's best not to distract them to other platforms, especially short form content platforms, because you can get lost on Instagram real quick, or TikTok. And so if I go, okay, he's got Instagram, I'm gonna go check that out. I don't know how long I'll spend on your Instagram page. I may start watching cat videos. So that would be something I would just recommend to remove.
Also, with that bio, this is kind of the rule of thumb with all social media in general, but emojis, you'll see an overuse of emojis in our about section, and that's for a purpose. It's not just to kind of look cute. It's very eye-catching, and it kind of caps ideas in your bio as well. And so we usually have emojis at the beginning and end of big ideas in the bio. So I would definitely go through and look at our bio and kind of see where those big ideas are and cap those off with appropriate emojis.
Yeah, it's got some good ones in there. Let's see, videos. We got 2 videos, so that's always going to be hard to tell. But let's see, this one.
Thumbnails is the first thing I'm noticing. You need thumbnails for those.
Yes, great point. Great point. I just looked right past that. Okay.
What's up, guys? This is James Heenan with EXP Realty. Today we're going to be talking about the 5 things that you must do before you move to Calgary. Number 1, schedule a call with me. This is a great time for us to talk about your current living situation, your work situation, your needs.
Having some background music will really help engage the person too, especially since the background is a little bit bland. Having some background music to kind of break it up a little bit would be really good. You don't want it to be too loud. I usually put it at about a -35 on Premiere Pro, depending on what program you're using to edit with, but just enough to be able to hear it, especially if you have it in headphones.
Yeah, and I would caution about, hey, give me a call, because right now, I mean, the thing is that as this is one of the first videos, we talk about this as far as providing value first. I feel like as soon as I come in, and it's not just you, James, a lot of people do this to where they feel like they need to make that introduction video. I do think this is an important video, but I probably wouldn't have give me a call as the exact first thing. That's usually kind of like the last thing, right? But because I know we did something similar to this. Now I'm wondering what was the first thing we said? Was it to give us a call? Maybe so. Which, hey, things change and adjust. But yeah, some background music. The background is definitely could use something more interesting there as well. So, and this is really straight and to the point. So, I mean, 2 minutes and 46 seconds.
To get a pre-approval, and make sure that you let them know you're looking for a property in Alberta. A lot of people that I've talked to will get a pre-approval from their bank, and they might be living in BC or Ontario. But if you don't tell someone that you're looking to buy a house in Alberta, this can jeopardize your application when it comes time to secure financing for the house. So it's always important to get this done as soon as possible. That way you have a realistic idea of your options. Number 3, set up an email search. After we've had our first conversation about your wants and needs, and you've gotten your pre-approval from a mortgage lender, I'm going to set up an automatic email search to send you the best listings every day as soon as they hit the market. The goal for this stage is not for you to be looking through dozens of different homes every single day.
You've got good energy, so that's really good. I think you've got a lot of good things going on here.
Yeah, I mean, clearly could use quite a bit of more optimization in the description. I mean, there's quite a bit that needs to go on there.
Yeah, some rearranging in that.
I'm going to give you a thumbs up, though. All right, I'm going to give you a thumbs up. So yeah, I mean, I would just work on background, thumbnails, descriptions. I mean, all of that in there. I mean, it's we could definitely work on. Let's see the outdoor one.
All right, guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about some of the pros and cons of living here in Calgary. If this is your first time on my channel and you want to know more about what life is like here in Calgary, go ahead and click subscribe and tap the bell icon so that you can be the first to know about the market. If you haven't seen me before, my name is James Heenan. I am a realtor here in Calgary, and basically the whole idea with this channel is I want to make it easier for people who are thinking about moving to the city. Want to teach you about the neighborhood, show you what kind of things there are to do in the city, just generally talk about life in it. So if you have any questions for me, all my information is in the description below. You can go ahead and call me, text me, or send me an email. Always happy to help. With that said, let's get into it. All right, guys. So like I said, today we're going to be talking about some of the pros and cons of life here in Calgary. So if you've never lived in Calgary before, maybe you've heard things about the city, like Calgary is full of cowboys, or everyone here drives a pickup truck, or Calgary is a really boring city and there's not actually anything to do. And I definitely disagree on the last part. There are some.
I would maybe say, it's funny. First of all, I was a little confused. I didn't know if it is country. I mean, now you're talking about cowboys, but I see some buildings in the background, so I'm assuming you're in a park or something like that. I would initially be confused about, okay, where are you? Actually, I was like, where are you at are you in the country? Are you in the city? I'm not really sure. So, and I'm not familiar with Calgary at all, so I can't really speak to that. But I might start out with that. That may be the hook, is instead of
talking about some. All right, guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about some of the pros and cons.
So, I mean, you get into saying, hey, we're talking about pros and cons, not necessarily a bad thing, but I just think the cowboy thing could be a better hook. So you heard there's nothing but cowboys and pickup trucks in Calgary, right? Well, I don't know. Is that the case or is it? Well, today we're talking about the good and the bad. If you're thinking about making a move to Calgary, then you'll definitely want to stick around in this video because I'm going to give you all the details that you need, especially if this is a country town or if you're going to need a pickup truck are we still rolling around on a horse and buggy here? I don't know. We'll get into it. So I don't know. I think something would be a little bit more hooky to include that on the front end, because that would be something like I would never even picture Canada. This is, pardon my ignorance, but and I'm from Texas, so I always think of the cowboys being down here in the South. So I wouldn't even, I've never even made that correlation, even thought about there being cowboys and pickup trucks in Calgary, Canada. So that's part of my own ignorance. But if I'm moving there and the video starts out with, so you've heard Calgary is just full of cowboys and pickup trucks, I'd be like, wait, what? Hold on a second. Now, Texas boy like myself, I might be going, okay, well, that's my place. I'm feeling right at home. I'm definitely going to watch the video. Or, hey, honey, we're city slickers. I'm not really sure about everything going on there, cowboys and pickup trucks. We might want to watch this video to find out what's going on. So think about what could capture interest a lot sooner and may make the video more interesting. You can still talk about pros and cons, but that would be, I think, a good hook.
Well, and visually too, I mean, lending to that same idea, like one of my favorite hooks that you've ever done was in Fate, Texas. And you started out in front of the giant like Fate mural. And so your hook was like, so is it fate to live in Fate, Texas, And so I think, some of these ideas will kind of come with time as you kind of get more comfortable with sharing your personality on camera. But I think it's important to kind of think visually, how can I hook somebody at the very beginning? And how can I also marry that with like my actual words and my hook in my words?
Yeah. So if I go back, I mean, there's quite a bit of forest walk. Again, I do believe you're in a park and you're close by, but I'm just, see, even right there, clearly you're in the city. But it's and a park is a good area, but I would probably pick an area of the park that is, there you can see a building. So is there something a little bit more noticeable? Because it was just initial confusion for myself a little bit. I get it, and I'd stick around and be like, okay, you're in Calgary, you're in the city. Clearly, look, there's lots of city there. Now you're out, maybe you're on the outskirts in the suburbs.
Well, and I think just explaining that too, you're like, well, I'm in a park actually right here in the center of Calgary. There's tons of green space here in Calgary, believe it or not, just explaining where you are. So, because ultimately, it comes down to like giving people a taste, a feel, a visual for what it's like to live there. I'm sure most people wouldn't even expect that something, that foresty is going to be right dead center in the city. So, that's very interesting all by itself.
Yep. Great point. I just identified. Let me know. Oh, I'm right here. You may think I'm in the forest right now, but I'm actually not. I'm in the middle of downtown Calgary or wherever this park is. Maybe it's on the outskirts or but yeah. But main thing is, if you can use, I'm not sure which camera you're using, if you're using GoPro or your camera phone. And if you're using the front side of it, if you can use a wide angle, that will lessen you a little bit in the frame and give more of the background view. You have a pretty good portion of it. It's not bad. I can still see behind you, but you're taking up a good portion, which is why we always use the back side of the phone and use that wide angle because using that wide angle is going to put me more in the frame, kind of like this. You'll still be able to see me and connect with me during the conversation, but it's just going to give a lot more background, especially when you're outside. That's what you want people to capture. Now, if you're making an office video, kind of like the one you had, I think, yes, definitely you want to be more up close and in the frame, taking up a little bit more space. So what's behind you is a little bit as just there for depth and visual aspect, not the feature of your video.
Yep. And last thing I'll say about that too. I think there's also a difference between giving like the information and also kind of like not attacking per se, but just like approaching your videos from multiple angles. And I think part of the reason that we put things like pattern interrupts, musical intros, text overlays, visuals on top of, picture visuals on top, it's because we're approaching it from every learning style, right? You're giving people visuals, you're changing, what they're looking at. It re-engages the eye. And so from a mental perspective and from a marketing perspective, that's why some of those things are in there, not just to, bring some extra color to the video, but it actually, re-engages the eye constantly and makes that view duration go up. So that's why I would say I would try to add a few more of those elements like that background music, maybe adding an intro at the very beginning that kind of breaks up what you're talking about and kind of leads them into the next piece of the video. You have to, lead people through the process of a video, just like you would through a funnel. And if you think of it that way, you're going to have a much more successful video.
Yep. It says, yeah, actually borrowed this idea from you guys. Yeah, I believe that. I think we definitely made a video like that. I'm not sure. Maybe the first thing I did say was, hey, give us a call. So I would probably. I
can think of exactly the one that it was and exactly where you were. Yeah. It was one of our first ones that we did.
Yeah. I think clearly my opinion has changed, and I'm not saying it's the wrong way to do it either, And so now. Yeah. So, I wouldn't worry about it. Again, the main thing is we got something out there. It's just something to keep and move forward. And the great thing is once you have 100, 200 videos and you're 2 years later, you're going to look back at that one and be like, oh my goodness, just a white wall behind me.
Right.
Again, not that that's bad, but I think, things just grow and improve as you go along. So
yeah, the important thing is you're establishing yourself, right? You're getting out there, you're putting that time on the internet, and that's a huge piece of SEO. So getting out there and putting something out on the internet, out on YouTube is going to be better than not doing anything at all and waiting for perfection to come. It takes time and it takes practice. So you're doing a great job.
Yep. What's up, David? Living in Danville. I completely agree. It is a little warm in here. Our AC's been a little off. But
it was just perfect when I was there. So 5 stars.
Let me see. What would be the first videos we should do when starting your channel? It's a good one. I mean, I think a simple pros and cons of your city is a good way to go. You could do cost of living. You could do veterans benefits. Just something that's general that has high search volume. So that's pretty simple. Or start out with the vlog tour. I mean, you start out with the vlog tour, then you could go that route as well. So let me see.
Ultimately, everything's evergreen. So it'll all come back and a lot of your videos will resurface at some point too and gain some extra traction. I mean, we have some videos that we made a year ago that are gaining some extra traction now. So
yeah, we talked about that this morning. Actually, we got a video from January that's catching a second wind and starting to blow up again.
Very common.
What's up, Kirk? Kirk says creating first channel, made 30 videos with iPhone. Cool. Time sucker editing. Yeah.
Yep.
Debating uploading 20 to 30 to instantly create library. Ooh, no, I would not recommend that at all. I would still recommend you publish 2 to 3 per week. And the great news is you've got 20 to 30 banked. So clearly you've got a good 2 months, 2 months worth of content. I know that's tempting, but if you video dump, it's the algorithm, it's not going to pick it up well, and it's going to be competing. Just choose whether you're going to do 2 or 3 videos a week and start publishing that. Lay them all out. You could schedule them out for the next 2 months, and that would be the way to go. And just let them, and then start working on your next 20 or 30 immediately. But go ahead and schedule them out 2 to 3 per week and start working on your next 30. And then you get those knocked out and get those scheduled. But release on the schedule you intend to, because that's going to be the best way. I would not video dump at all.
Yep. YouTube loves consistency. So if you did 30 a week, it's going to love it if you do 30 a week moving forward, but it's not going to love it if you don't. So, I mean, it doesn't like reduced content. And, it's like the equivalent of keyword stuffing, and just doing, 100 versions of that same keyword 100 times on your, in your paragraphs. Video stuffing is just as bad.
Well, and I experimented with this.
Oh yeah. I was just going to say, we tried to do that with just 3 on a very small scale, and that just crashed and burned for us. So
yeah. So we had really good momentum on the channel. And ultimately, it didn't kill the channel. I would just say, but I got the idea from the fact I read a stat that 80% of people will binge watch a Netflix series when it gets released. So, Netflix video dumps, right? Because they'll release a whole season. You actually don't see anything until they come out with the whole season. And that's the stat I read was that, Netflix users, they'll binge watch, 80% of them will binge watch that like within 2 days. I mean, it was super fast. So you think about House of Cards or whatever, whatever's coming out on Netflix, people are just consuming it over the weekend basically. And I thought, that's pretty interesting. Well, because we're typically ahead of content, I had 3 videos on Salina, Texas. It was a vlog tour, a map tour, and a pros and cons, I believe. And I thought, let's give the audience what they want. Let's just release all 3 of them at the same time. And one of them did okay.
It was a vlog. I feel like it was a vlog.
The other 2 tanked.
Holy crap.
And we had very consistent growth. Every single video we did, very consistent growth, very consistent views, very consistent calls. One video, it struggled. The other 2 just flatlined, zeroed out. Now they've gained traction since then. They initially got picked up, but it killed those 2 of those videos for well over a month or so, probably 30 to 60 days before they ever
we took our lashings. It wasn't a good thing.
But hey, it was an experiment, right? And just thought we'd give it a try. But
I feel like those types of things are a little bit better when there's anticipation behind it too. There was no warning for our audience that we were going to be doing something like that. And, it's an expected thing. It's an anticipatory type of practice on Netflix. That's what it's made for, is for binge watching. It's a specific audience. And I think that's people love the more in the moment, predictable stuff on YouTube. And that's just, it worked out better for us that way.
Yeah. Now, ultimately, do what you want, but
we've paved the way. Don't do it.
But if you do it, hey, come back next week and let us know.
That's like,
but I probably wouldn't do that.
Again, I think it would. I mean, it could work for somebody if that's the entire premise of their channel and that's all they did. But I feel like it would have to be like a consistent practice that you did, because at the end of the day, YouTube is about consistency. So maybe someone could be super successful with that and kind of lead the way in that. But I don't think that the platform's really made for the binge watch.
Yep. See, I'm both real estate agent and loan officer. I've been trying to think of different ways to approach both of my services on YouTube. I would do what we do, which is value first. Neighborhoods. I mean, the thing is that we could be a real estate agent or a loan officer. I know people understand we're agents, but I don't really say that. It's in the description, but I don't say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I just say I'm Levi. So I could be a loan officer. So I think just provide that value, get people to give you a call and go from there. Chris says many things. You just saved my YouTube life. Yeah, probably maybe so. I wouldn't recommend it. Schedule them all out. And the great thing is now you've got 2 to 3 months worth of content ready to go. That's going to relieve so much pressure. Now just work on getting the next 20 to 30 videos and you'll be golden. So,
yep.
I forgot I have a 2 o'clock meeting. I gotta jump on. So I think we're at the end there today. So I think today was a pretty productive set. I don't believe we had any other channels to look at, but we can always get to them next week. And let us know in the comments, by the way. First of all, give us a thumbs up and then let us know, do you enjoy the channel reviews? Is this helpful? I know James said this helped him out quite a bit. So hopefully give you some good points and tips on there. And we saved Kirk's YouTube life. I mean, I feel like we've done a lot of good today. So
yes, we have.
So thank you all for joining us today. I'm going to jump just because I have another meeting. Otherwise, I'd stay and chat all day. But got to run. We'll see you next week, and check us out on the Facebook group. And then also, by the way, see you next week. I was going to say something very profound, but then I was like, no, all right. Bye.